the mud and the winter grass is not as appealing. But I did want to do a video just because, a lot of depressing things going on lately. And I thought, what better to distract myself, than some crazy chickens and quail, and it's just so fun to I think it's funny to watch them and see what they do with each other, and even just the way they walk and run is funny to me. So anyway, you'll see that we've got these 2 downed trees. They're actually they were donated to me from family members, and what these do, they serve 2 vital purposes. They actually help the grass grow back. All those really muddy areas like that and that, they just help the grass get some footing, and the chickens can't tear it up, and it's just almost kind of like a erosion thing. You wouldn't think so, but it's got enough space in between that it doesn't smother the grass. The grass just starts growing up around it. Never throw these away. They have so many different uses for them, and I use them on the farm, I'm not a big fan of cut something, kill it just for, a holiday. So have its life go to some vital purpose is better than adoption chick. And so was that gray one right next to her or him. I've never had this breed before, and I'm pretty sure it's a Sumatra. And you'd think by now that if it was a rooster, you'd have a little longer tail feathers and a little bigger comb, but I don't know. I still don't know who that one's going to be as far as male or female. The feathers on the tail look really round to me, so I think it's going to be a female. I don't think it's going to have any issues. But if that was a male, they're usually very mean, so probably couldn't keep that one as a rooster if it ends up being. But anyway, so we've got another one of that's Phoenix right there. We haven't named the Sumatra yet. We haven't named a lot of them, but that's one of our other teenagers right there. It's such a joy to raise, and you're saving a life. You don't know what would happen if you didn't adopt them. So if you haven't watched some of our other videos that talk about adopted chicks, they're adopted just from hatcheries that hatch out too many, and or didn't have as many people buy as they thought were going to buy, that week. And they give you them at a good price, and sometimes you can even adopt out girls only, if you can't have roosters. Actually been pretty so far. He's an Easter egger, so sometimes they can be a little possessive over the hens, but they're not usually mean. He was an accident. We got 3 female Frizzles, and 2 of them frizzed, and one of them just had the straight feather, which you don't want all of them to frizz, because if all of them frizz, that means that you've got a double gene in there somewhere, and they actually have offspring that go bald. But anyway, he is our new rooster, and we're hoping that his name is Diavor, and and Diavor has been, mounting a little bit, but if you watch him with the chicks, he's really trying to do a lot of gifting and a lot of protecting as well. So we have to just watch. Is he annoying the hens? Because I don't think he's going to be mean or aggressive, but is he going to annoy the hens? So that's what we got to watch out for. And, we got a geriatric almost silky named Ravenwing who, doesn't need Diavor, bothering him. So we need to make sure that as Diavor grows and matures, that he is going to be kind to Ravenwing. And why did we name him Diavor? Well, if you've ever watched the movie Maleficent, and you see anytime Diavor changes into anything other than the raven that he naturally is, he ends up looking all scruffy and scraggly, so that's how we got his name. And then we've got over here, we've got Einstein, which, is a girl, but still, just reminded me of Einstein's hair, honestly. So yeah, and then we've got Dievor's sister over here, and sort of to come full circle, we're going to name her Maleficent. So there we go. So yeah, just the obvious ones like that are starting to have names, but of course you don't have. So this buff one right here, we've named Buttercup. Buttercup actually did something really interesting. I wish I would have gotten it on film. But Buttercup, one night, stayed outside and didn't know how to get back in the coop when they were just like about a week or so getting used to being out of the brooder. And so Buttercup got lost. And usually when chicks get lost, they just kind of sit there and scream and you have to find them. Well, Buttercup is a very, very just naturally inquisitive and social animal. She's very loving, and just by nature, I don't know why, she's one of those chickens that have bonded with me. All these chicks are the same. I raise them the same, but some of them just bond a little stronger. I never know why. So she just, as soon as she saw me, she just came running. She's like, no, please, please save me. And she just came running all the way up to me. And these chickens aren't tame really. We don't handle them unless they allow us to pet them or handle them. We have a few like her, especially our speckled Sussex chickens, what seem to be like that by nature. But we have a few like Buttercup that will actually let us pet them and hold them. But most of them are, we try to make them not that tame, so that when they're released out into this free-range environment, they're not going to be subject to predators as easily. They have their flight instinct still, and we want to have them have that natural flight instinct instead of raising them to fear nothing. They don't know the difference between you and a predator, especially for the first time a predator attack happens. They do not know the difference between something big like you and another something big like a predator. So, it's for their own, really for their own protection that we don't over domesticate them. So by now, these little chicks are exploring and everything. We have 15, and it's one of the only, yes, we do have a little runt right there and a little runt right there, but usually those don't make it. They come weak, in the box, and they last like a week. Well, all 15 lived. All 15 are still here, and usually we have some that have, some that have gone, accidentally gotten eaten by predators or something, and we haven't had that either. So I think part of it's just luck. They had a good ride in the mail, and all of them survived. We didn't have any DOAs. We didn't have any weak ones on arrival. That makes a big difference. And then I think the other part was it's really rare that this long. So anyway, I think that's because it's winter, and we just naturally have the most predators in spring because it's kind of birthing season and predators need to feed their young, right? And then we have an uptick in other predators other times of the year because of migration and things like that. And in winter it's kind of, yes, we have predators, but it's a lot less. So I know it's a bit of a risk to get them shipped in the mail during winter. You kind of have to pick a hatchery that will make sure that they've got ample amounts of heat packs and stuff like that. You got to pay extra for the shipping, and you got to get a certain amount to ship. But as long as they don't get delayed in the mail for one reason or another, you got to make sure of that too. They end up being pretty surprisingly easy to raise in winter. And I would have lost, if I raised these in spring, I would have lost 2/3 of them by now. It is ridiculous how many we have that get eaten in spring that we try to raise, even when they're half grown like this. So by spring, these guys will get big enough, I think, that it'll help them out.